What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop and we are back for the second half of 100 facts about every Johto Pokemon. Last week we covered the first half of the Johto Pokedex and covered a lot of really cool and interesting facts, and today we are here to round off the Johto Dex with 50 more facts about 50 more Pokemon. If you're unfamiliar about what this series is about, it's pretty straightforward because basically we're covering one distinct fact about every Pokemon in a given region, this time of course covering the Johto region. If you haven't seen the previous first part, I definitely recommend checking it out, but with this part we've still got a lot more cool stuff to cover, so definitely stick around, and without further ado, let's just go ahead and check it out. Starting this video off with Wobbuffet, in Generation 3 when abilities were introduced, Wobbuffet got the ability Shadow Tag, which prevents escaping in battle. However, this ended up creating a very interesting scenario due to Wobbuffet's unique status of not causing direct damage due to its counter moves, because if two Wobbuffet are facing each other in Generation 3, both having the ability Shadow Tag and they're both holding the item Leftovers, this will cause an endless battle because neither of them will be able to directly hurt each other, and when they eventually run out of moves and start using Struggle, the damage that is caused by Struggle will be healed by the Leftovers item. This exact scenario is most likely what caused Shadow Tag and Struggle both to be modified slightly in Generation 4. In the Gold and Silver beta demo that was leaked earlier this year, Girafarig actually had a pre-evolution named Twins. This pre-evolution was a dark normal type, and Girafarig itself was also a dark normal type, and it basically was two ghosts, believe it or not, attached together. On top of this, Girafarig's original design was two exact copies of its head back to back instead of the Chain Chomp sort of design that we got with the final. So you might know that Pineco is partially based on a pine cone, and you might even know that it's also based on a bagworm, being the bagworm Pokemon. However, what you might not know is that it's also partially based on a hand grenade, and this would explain its ability to use the move Explosion, as well as its kind of segmented pattern that it has that is also similar to hand grenades. According to Forretress's Gold Dex entry, its entire body is shielded by a steel hard shell. What lurks inside the armor is a total mystery, basically confirming that we have never actually seen what Forretress actually looks like. According to Dunsparce's various Pokedex entries, two of its signature characteristics are its ability to burrow into the ground and its ability to fly, even if just slightly. However, even though these two characteristics are things that could make Dunsparce either a ground type, a flying type, or both, it instead got stuck with a normal type for an inexplicable reason. Speaking of the ground flying type, an actual ground flying type that seems to be mistyped as well is Gligar. According to Gligar's various Pokedex entries, it having poisonous traits is mentioned way more often than it having anything to do with the ground, despite it being a ground type and not a poison type at all, even upon evolving into Gliscor. According to Steelix's Soul Silver Pokedex entry, it is said that if an Onix lives for 100 years, its composition becomes diamond-like as it evolves into a Steelix, basically alluding to the fact that all Steelix are over 100 years old. So Snubbull is one of those Pokemon in Diamond and Pearl that is available as a swarm Pokemon. That is, a Pokemon in the post-game that becomes available on a given route according to the TV screen that says there are a large number of Pokemon in a given area. That being said, the route that Snubbull is available on as a swarm Pokemon is Route 209, which just so happens to be its Pokedex number. Its evolution Gramble, along with Snubbull itself, was actually changed to a pure fairy type starting in Generation 6. Given Gramble's more rugged exterior, this might seem a bit out of place. However, this actually makes perfect sense when you consider that Gramble is based on the Ku Sith, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, who is a mythological creature in Celtic mythology whose name literally translates to Dog Fairy. Moving on to Qwilfish, it's actually possible that Qwilfish was originally planned to be a counterpart to Remoraid, or at least a more direct one. The reason for this is because both are water Pokemon introduced in Generation 2. Qwilfish was originally going to evolve in the Gold and Silver beta demo, much like Remoraid does, and finally, while Remoraid is partially based on a gun, Qwilfish itself is also based on a form of weaponry, that being a naval mine. Scizor is actually known as the Pinsir Pokemon, which is a bit ironic considering the fact that we have a Pokemon named Pinsir, and that exact Pokemon was once counterparts with Scizor's pre-evolution Scyther. Shuckle is a rather peculiar Pokemon in and of itself because in every single stat category, Shuckle either ranks as the absolute best of every single Pokemon, or it ranks in the bottom 3 of every single Pokemon. So Shuckle has the highest base special defense of all Pokemon, it is tied for the highest base defense of all Pokemon, tied with Mega Aggron and Mega Steelix, but then it also has the lowest base HP stat of all Rock-type Pokemon and is in the bottom 3 of that category overall. It also has the lowest base attack stat of all Bug and Rock-type Pokemon, being in the bottom 3 of all Pokemon overall. It is also tied for the lowest base special attack of all Pokemon, with Feebas, Bonsly, and Alolan Sandshrew, and it also has the lowest base speed stat of all Pokemon, tied with Munchlax and Pyukumuku for that honor. So Heracross actually gets part of its name from Hercules, and this actually works into its design pretty ingeniously. These rhinoceros beetles are also known as fighting insects, and in some countries are pitted against each other in fights, which is where Heracross gets its fighting typing, but it also gets its fighting typing from Hercules himself, who is a demigod in Greek mythology, really putting Heracross's design together very, very well. Sneasel actually had a slightly different coloration to its regular form in its sprites in Gold and Silver, having blue feathers instead of the red ones that we currently have today. Almost all of Teddiursa's Pokedex entries talk about how much it loves honey, which could be an indicator that Teddiursa was originally intended to be a honey Pokemon, since the honey feature was originally going to make its debut in Generation 2. Ursaring's design has actually been pretty inconsistent, believe it or not, over the years, because the number of claws it actually has been changed several times. In its original artwork, Ursaring had 4 claws, however in its Heart Gold and Soul Silver artwork, it has 5 claws. However, in the Generation 2 games, you only see 3 claws on its sprite, and in Generations 3 and 4 minus Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Ursaring has 4 claws. However, from Heart Gold and Soul Silver onwards, Ursaring has had 5 claws in every single one of its game sprites since. Slugma's French name is Lamagma, which is actually dangerously close to the word Ligma. I mean, I'm just saying. When it comes to its evolution Magcargo, no other Pokemon currently in existence has the same type combination as Magcargo does, and Magcargo is the only rock Pokemon that evolves from a Pokemon that is not a rock type itself. Swinub is currently the only Pokemon that is able to be resistant to all types of weather effects without the aid of an ability, including the Pokemon XD exclusive weather effect, Shadow Sky. When it comes to Piloswine and its evolutionary family are the only Pokemon in existence that are actually weak to all 3 types of the starter Pokemon. According to Corsola's Silver Pokedex entry, in a South Sea nation, the people live in communities that are built on groups of these Pokemon. Believe it or not, this description actually perfectly matches that of Pacific Town, since Pacific Town is built on a Corsola colony. That being said, it's very likely that the concept for Pacific Town was based on this Pokedex entry. With Remoraid, it's actually pretty likely that Remoraid was based on a character from another Game Freak title, Pulseman. In Stage 6 of Pulseman, there is an enemy known as the Gunfish, which even though they look different, that's exactly what Remoraid is a Gunfish. On top of that, moving on to its evolution Octillery, there is also another enemy in Stage 6 of Pulseman that looks strikingly similar to Octillery as well. So you probably know that Delibird is the unofficial Christmas Pokemon for its coloration of red and white, for the fact that it gives gifts to people in a bag that it carries around, and for the fact that it's an ice type representing winter. However, it goes a bit farther than this because its number in the Pokedex is 225, which, minus the 1 at the beginning, is the date of Christmas being 1225. So Mantine received a pre-evolution in Generation 4, that being Mantike, and the way that Mantike evolves into Mantine is by leveling it up with a Remoraid in the party, citing the 2 Pokemon's close relationship. However, this is a bit ironic because ever since Generation 4, when this Pokemon and this evolution method was formally introduced, Mantine has not had a Remoraid present in any of its sprites or 3D models. With Skarmory, we can actually learn some pretty interesting things about Skarmory's anatomy thanks to the Pokedex. According to its Ruby and Sapphire Dex entries, Skarmory is entirely cased in hard protective armor. This Pokemon flies at close to 190 miles per hour. It slashes foes with its wings that possess sword-like cutting edges. Skarmory's steel wings become tattered and bashed in from repeated battles. Once a year, the battered wings grow back completely, restoring the cutting edges to their pristine state. When it comes to Houndour, there are only 2 main series games where you can actually catch Houndour before completing the main story, and those games are Pokemon Platinum and Pokemon X. According to Mega Houndour's Ultra Sun Dex entry, its red claws and the tip of its tail are melting from high internal temperatures that are painful to Houndoom itself. What the heck, Game Freak? Moving on to Kingdra, Kingdra and its entire family are known as the Dragon Pokemon, despite the fact that Kingdra is the only one in that family that is actually a Dragon type. Phanpy and its counterpart Teddiursa and their evolutions are the only Pokemon that have actually swapped version-exclusive status across localizations. For example, Phanpy and its evolution Donphan were actually exclusive to the Japanese and Korean Gold version. However, everywhere else they are exclusive to Silver and vice versa for Teddiursa. However, that being said, this was actually fixed in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. According to Donphan's Gold Dex entry, it has sharp, hard tusks and a rugged hide. Its tackle attack is strong enough to knock down a house. So Donphan's tackle attack, which is pretty much the weakest move that it or any other Pokemon could have for the most part, is strong enough to knock down an entire house. Stay away, Donphan. I love you, but stay away. So Porygon 2, along with its pre-evolution and its evolution, actually get their name directly from the word polygon, which is a reference to 3D modeling. However, the reason why it's pronounced Porygon instead of Polygon is actually a reference to how Japanese people pronounce their L sounds as R sounds. So Stantler is found on Route 36 in Johto, which is a route that leads into Violet City. Violet City actually is also based on Nara, Japan, which coincidentally or not coincidentally is a city where many tame deer actually live and roam about. Believe it or not, Smeargle's shiny form in Generation 2 actually became its regular form more or less in Generation 3, because its shiny form in Generation 2 had a green-tipped tail, while its regular form in Generation 2 had a brown-tipped tail. From Generation 3 onwards, however, its regular form now has a green-tipped tail, and its shiny form has a red-tipped tail. Tyrogue actually shares a pretty cool honor with Eevee, being one of only 2 Pokemon that is able to evolve into more than 2 Pokemon. Hitmontop is actually based on the martial art, and I know I'm going to pronounce this terribly, Capoeira, which was actually developed in Brazil way back in the 16th century. Smoochum's Mandarin Chinese name is Michunhua, which actually literally translates to bewildering lip doll. I mean, accurate, I guess? Speaking of Mandarin Chinese names, Elekid's Mandarin Chinese name is Dianjiguai, which once again literally translates to electric shock freak. According to Magby's Silver and Crystal Pokedex entries, its body temperature, as well as the temperature of the flames that it spits, are both over 1100 degrees. According to Miltank's Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum Pokedex entries, it is said that kids who drink Miltank's milk grow up to become hardy, healthy adults. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this kind of just seems like a subtle hint towards the kids to try and encourage them to drink milk and be healthy. Blissey is known as the happiness Pokemon. With that being said, Blissey's Japanese name is literally happiness, just spelled in a slightly different way. Raiko's Gold and Silver in-game sprite is actually significantly different than its final current design, despite its design never being changed from Generation 2 when it was first conceived. In the Generation 2 games, there was actually a scrapped Entei event where it was planned for you to be able to encounter and battle a level 40 Entei. At the beginning of Pokemon Crystal, it is shown that the Unknown are communicating with Suicune, telling it to come to the ruins of Alph. However, even though this is interesting and cool, it doesn't really make any sense considering that Unknown do not have any sort of established relationship in Pokemon Crystal or otherwise with Suicune. According to Larvitar's gold dex entry, it feeds on soil. After it has eaten a large mountain, it will fall asleep so it can grow. So basically you're telling me that Larvitar, this little itty bitty thing, can eat an entire mountain. First we've got Donphan knocking down entire houses, and now we have Larvitar literally eating entire mountains. It's times like these where we gotta be thankful that Pokemon don't actually exist. According to Pupitar's gold dex entry, its shell is as hard as sheetrock, and it's also very strong. Its thrashing can topple a mountain. Like, what is it with these Pokemon and the mountain abuse? First you're eating a mountain, then you're knocking down a mountain. Like, what did the mountain ever do to you? For our fact on Tyranitar, we actually have a cool anime fact as well, because the Tyranitar from the 4th movie, Pokemon Forever, actually has the same cry as Dialga does from movies 10, 11, and 12. So earlier this year, when the 1997 Gold and Silver beta demo leaked, there was no sign of Lugia anywhere in the game, adding to the popular theory that Lugia was actually created specifically for the second movie in the anime, making it most likely one of the only Pokemon that has ever been created specifically for the TV show. Moving on to its counterpart Ho-Oh, Ho-Oh being the mascot of Pokemon Gold is likely a reference to the classic trope of a pot of gold being at the end of every rainbow, since Ho-Oh is the rainbow Pokemon. And last but not least, we have Celebi. According to a now defunct Nintendo of Japan webpage from the early 2000s, Celebi's original Romanized name, which is basically its name outside of Japan, was going to be Celebi before ultimately being slightly altered to Celebi. And there we have it, everybody. Generation 2 is now in the books. I really enjoyed covering facts on every Pokemon from my favorite region, and I really hope you guys enjoyed learning about them too. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to give it a like, and let me know down in the comments below which one of these facts you enjoyed the most, or if you have a fact of your own you'd like to share, and let me know if you'd like to see this for Generation 3 as well, since this is now kind of a series. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I would like to encourage you to not only go follow me on Spotify for my Pokemon remixes, but also go check out my Twitter for the Spotify giveaway, where we're going to be giving away a copy of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. All you gotta do is follow me and like and retweet the contest tweet to enter. Finally, real quick, because I haven't got a chance to mention this in a video yet, but I am going to be doing my very first Let's Play ever when Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee come out. I'm going to be playing Let's Go Pikachu, and I am so excited for it, so I really hope you guys will look forward to that as well, and definitely leave your feedback, if you have any, on that in the comments below. With all that being said though, I will be back on Thursday for another video, so be sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified as soon as it goes live, and with all that being said, I love you guys, and I will smell you guys later.